Welcome back to the podcast playground. Our newest podcast is The Best Podcast.
Join Jay Carter and me, Vida Best, on The Best Podcast, where the dynamic duo brings you their insider secrets to everything wonderful. Now Jay and me dive deep into the top 5 everything, from the latest cell phones to affordable wines that won't break the bank.
So tell a friend, you've found The Best Podcast,
where every recommendation is a gem waiting to be uncovered. Tune in weekly for your dose of excellence.
You know, that monthly cell phone bill, it just often feels like one of those costs you wish you could just make smaller.
Definitely. It adds up fast.
And you're here because you want the real story on the best cell phone service providers for 2025. You want to know, fast, where the best value is, who's got the speed, the best experience.
Right.
We've dug through a ton of sources, Consumer Reports, Tom's Guide, detailed YouTube breakdowns, and we're gonna, cut straight through all the marketing hype for you.
Yeah, it's important because, honestly, it's confusing out there. But what's interesting is that all these different sources, they basically point to the same thing.
Which is?
The carriers you see advertised everywhere, the big three, they're generally not the ones people are happiest with, especially when it comes to value.
Okay, so Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they're not topping the charts for satisfaction.
Not usually, no. We need to talk about names like US Mobile and Visible. They're kind of the new leaders in many ways.
Okay, let's get into that. The savings potential seems huge. Consumer Reports surveyed, over 75,000 people?
Yeah, 75,278 members. And the results on switching, they're pretty dramatic.
Tell me about it.
Well, over half the people who switched carriers saved more than $40 a month.
Wow, $40 or more every month.
Every single month. That's like nearly $500 a year back in your pocket. And maybe even more telling, more than twice as many people switched to one of these smaller providers than left one.
So the tide is definitely shifting. People are actively moving away from the big names towards value.
It certainly looks that way. They're finding good deals and sticking with them.
And who's leading this charge, according to Consumer Reports?
US Mobile came out #1 overall in their ratings. Excellent scores for value, for their data service, and this is important for customer support too.
Okay, US Mobile. What makes them stand out, besides the score?
Well, one really interesting thing is their flexibility with networks. They're not tied to just one. US Mobile actually runs on all 3 major networks.
Wait, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon?
Yep. So you, as the customer, can actually choose which network you want to use based on, what gives you the best signal where you live or work.
That's pretty unique. So what's their main plan like?
Their popular one, the unlimited starter plan. It's just $25 a month, and that includes taxes and fees.
$25 all in. What do you get?
You get 35 gigabytes of high-speed data. Now get this. According to Ericsson's latest mobility report, the average person uses way less than that. 35 gigs is actually 1.5 times the average usage.
Hold on, 35 gigs is more than average. So these super expensive unlimited plans from the big guys, are most people just paying for data they don't even use?
That's exactly what the data suggests. It's probably the biggest way people overspend. Just knowing your actual usage, maybe checking your phone settings, that knowledge is power. It saves you money.
Definitely. But okay, back to US Mobile. Is there anything else special about that $25 plan?
Yes. There's a really killer feature if you choose to activate on the Verizon network.
Okay.
You get priority data. That means when the network gets busy, like during rush hour or at a concert, your connection doesn't slow down as much as others might. You get treated just like a premium Verizon customer.
The exact same network experience as someone paying Verizon, $80, $90 a month?
Exactly the same priority. For $25, that's the game changer right there.
Okay, but there have to be some trade-offs, right? Depending on the network you pick with US Mobile.
There are, yeah. Little things you should know, like RCS messaging. That's the newer text message standard that gives you better group chats, read receipts, like iMessage does.
Right.
That only works if you choose the Verizon network on US Mobile. And if you pick T-Mobile's network, visual voicemail doesn't work currently. You have to dial in the old-fashioned way.
Okay. So you need to check which little features matter most to you before you sign up and pick a network. Good to know.
Definitely. And we should also mention Consumer Cellular. They were ranked #2 by Consumer Reports.
Right behind US Mobile.
Yep. Excellent scores for value and data, too. And they actually had the fewest reported problems with customer service out of anyone. They're really popular, especially with seniors, partly because they offer an AARP discount.
Okay, so another strong contender, particularly for maybe a less tech-heavy user who prioritizes support.
Exactly.
All right, let's dig into something you mentioned earlier, priority data. This seems really important. Deprioritize versus priority. What does that actually mean for your experience?
It's a huge difference, and it's often hidden in the fine print. This really brings us to Visible. They're actually owned by Verizon.
Okay, Verizon's budget brand, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Their basic plan, Visible Base, is $25 a month, taxes and fees included. And it offers truly unlimited high-speed data on the Verizon network.
Okay, unlimited data for $25 on Verizon's network. That sounds amazing. What's the catch?
The catch is that deprioritization. Your data connection is considered lower priority than regular Verizon customers, or even those U.S. mobile customers on Verizon using their priority feature.
So what does that look like in the real world?
Well, one reviewer did a test. At a busy Costco on a Saturday, speeds on the deprioritized Visible Base plan dropped. Well, they plummeted. Down to like 0.2 megabits per second. Basically unusable for anything beyond a simple text.
Ouch. And what about a priority plan at the same time, same place?
Smooth sailing, around 8 megabits per second. Enough to browse, stream low-quality video, function normally.
Okay, but hang on. That's a busy Costco. What if you live somewhere rural or you just, don't hang out in super crowded places often? Is Visible Base actually an incredible deal then? Are we focusing too much on these, edge cases?
That's a really fair point. And yeah, absolutely. If you're typically not in congested areas, maybe you work from home, live outside a major city center, avoid big events, then that $25 Visible Base plan could be fantastic value. Truly unlimited data for that price is hard to beat.
But if you do hit those busy spots,
then you're going to feel that slowdown. Commuting in a city, going to sports games, concerts, even just peak evening hours in a dense neighborhood. That's when deprioritization can be really frustrating.
So Visible must have an answer for that.
They do. It's called Visible Plus. It's their premium tier. Costs $45 a month.
Okay, so a $20 jump.
Right. But they also offer an annual plan discount.
Right.
If you pay for the year up front, it brings the cost down significantly, closer to like $33 a month.
Ah, okay. So commit for a year, save quite a bit. What does Visible Plus give you for the extra money?
It basically solves the congestion problem. You get unlimited priority data whenever you're on Verizon's faster 5G ultra-wideband network. And even on their regular 5G or LTE network, you get a big bucket, 50 gigabytes of priority data each month before you'd ever face potential slowdowns.
So peace of mind, essentially.
Pretty much. Plus, you get better hotspot data unlimited at 10 Mbps, which is decently fast, and some international perks like roaming in Canada and Mexico and some international calling minutes.
Okay. So connecting this back for you, the listener,
Right.
It really comes down to your lifestyle and location. Is truly unlimited data for $25 worth the risk of occasional slowdowns? Or do you need that reliable priority data enough to pay more for Visible Plus?
That's the core question you have to answer for yourself.
All right. Now, beyond these main unlimited style plans, what about people with more specific needs? Like maybe someone who really wants a new phone included.
Yeah, the sources highlighted a few interesting niche options. Let's talk about getting a free phone first, because that's a big hook for many people.
Right. The big three always push those deals.
They do. But Boost Mobile, another MVNO, has a really aggressive offer with their infinite access plans.
Okay, Boost. What's the deal?
It's pretty unique. You can get a free high-end phone like a new iPhone Pro or Samsung Galaxy S ultra-level device today. No trade-in needed for the first one.
Free, like actually free.
Free up front, yeah. And then every year after that, you can trade in that phone and get up to $1,000 off the next new flagship model.
Whoa. A new flagship every year, basically covered. That sounds almost too good to be true. There must be a major catch.
The catch is the plan itself. It's $65 a month, and you only get 30 gigabytes of high-speed data.
Ah, okay. So $65 for 30 gigs is, well, it's expensive compared to U.S. Mobile's $25 for 35 gigs we just talked about.
Exactly. The value proposition here isn't the plan. It's entirely tilted towards that hardware subsidy. But that subsidy is way better than what the big three usually offer, unless you're on their most expensive plans.
Oh.
AT&T might give you a few $100 off. Verizon might require their top-tier plan for the best deals. Boost is basically saying, commit to our $65 plan, and we'll give you a top phone every year.
So it's a lock-in strategy, but with a really tempting hardware carrot. You're trading plan flexibility and value for predictable, cheap access to the latest phones.
Precisely. It forces you to decide what you value more.
Okay, flipping the script completely. What about the opposite end? People who barely use any data.
There are great options there, too. US Mobile pops up again. They have a plan with unlimited talk and text, but just 2 gigabytes of high-speed data. It's around $10 a month.
$10, wow.
And even that includes free international texting and calling to a ton of countries. Then there's another interesting one called Mobile X.
Mobile X, haven't heard of them as much.
They use the Verizon network. And crucially, they give you priority data, even on their flexible plans.
Yeah.
You basically pay per gigabyte about $2.10 per gig. And if you don't use all the data you bought, you get account credit back.
Oh, that's clever. Pay for what you use, get credit for what you don't.
Yeah. So like 10 gigs would cost you around $17. It really rewards you if your usage varies or is generally low.
And what about annual deals for low to mid users?
US Mobile has another one there, Unlimited Flex. You pay $210 up front for the year, which works out to $17.50, and that gets you 10 gigs of high-speed data monthly.
Okay, lots of options for saving if you don't need truly unlimited. What about international travelers? That's often a pain point.
Yeah, roaming fees can be brutal. US Mobile's unlimited premium plan is really strong here. It's 44 hours a month.
Premium, okay. What makes it good for travel?
If you activate it using the T-Mobile network, remember you can choose. You get 5 gigabytes of free high-speed data to use in like 181 countries.
5 free gigs of international data. That's huge.
It really is. Plus, you get 100 gigs of domestic data. So if you travel internationally, even occasionally, that feature alone could be worth the price bump. And you can actually switch to the T-Mobile side of US Mobile just before a trip to get that benefit.
Very flexible. Okay, so we've seen MVNOs like US Mobile, Visible, Consumer Cellular, even Boost and Mobile X offering incredible value, flexibility, specific perks, often on the same networks as the big guys.
Right.
So now we have to ask, why do the big three rank so low in satisfaction? What are you actually getting for that much higher price tag? This is where it gets really interesting.
It does. Let's look at that Consumer Reports verdict again. AT&T, dead last, 21st out of 21.
Ouch. Why?
Poor marks for value, obviously, but also for customer support. Verizon wasn't much better tied for second to last, mostly dragged down by cost.
And T-Mobile.
T-Mobile was the winner among the three, but still only ranked 12th overall. Middle of the pack.
It seems like the combination of high prices and often frustrating customer service just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, I can see how you'd feel ripped off paying double what your neighbor pays for, essentially the same network signal, maybe even better customer service from the cheaper provider.
Exactly. That perceived value just tanks.
So why would anyone who's informed still choose AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile directly? There must be some reason beyond just brand recognition or inertia.
There are reasons, mainly boiling down to two things: niche infrastructure needs and raw network speed.
Explain niche infrastructure. Think specialized coverage, like ensuring robust 5G inside massive stadiums or specific corporate campuses or government contracts where they need guaranteed, dedicated capacity that an MVNO might not offer directly. And they do generally invest the most in building out the core network first.
Okay, and the other thing was speed. Let's do the reality check. Tom's Guide compiled data from various network testers, right? Ookla, OpenSignal.
Yeah, third-party testing. And the speed differences are significant, especially at the top end.
Who comes out fastest?
T-Mobile, pretty clearly. Ookla's median download speed for T-Mobile was over 270 million PPs nationally.
270, wow. How does that compare?
It's roughly double Verizon and AT&T. Verizon was around 134 million Ps, AT&T around 129 million Ps median speed.
So T-Mobile is significantly faster on average.
Yeah. They also have the widest 5G coverage footprint, reaching about 332 million people, and OpenSignal's testing gave them awards across most overall experience categories. Though, interestingly, Root Metrics still called Verizon's network the best overall, likely factoring in reliability alongside speed.
So, if raw top-end speed is your absolute number one, gotta have it priority, T-Mobile seems to be the leader based on that data. Tom's Guide ranked them #1 overall provider because of that network performance.
Right, and their perks help justify the cost for some. Their higher tier plans, like the Go 5G Next or Plus plans, often bundle things like Netflix, Apple TV, Plus Anthem, maybe Hulu.
Like the $85 a month Experience More plan Tom's Guide mentioned, with 60 gigs of hotspot, Netflix Standard, Apple TV Plus.
Exactly. If you're already paying for Netflix and Apple TV Plus separately, bundling them through your T-Mobile plan can offset a good chunk of that $85 monthly cost, making the effective price for the phone service seem more reasonable.
That makes sense. Calculate the total value. Now, what about AT&T? They ranked last in satisfaction, but is there any scenario where they make sense?
Their main potential value proposition seems to be for families, specifically families who all need new phones regularly.
How so?
Their unlimited starter SL plan, while not the cheapest headline price, around $36 per line for 4 lines, before taxes and fees, it does qualify for their best device deals.
Ah, okay. So even their starter unlimited can get the big phone discounts.
Yeah, up to $1,000 off the latest phones with trade-in, eligible every 3 years. So if you have, say, 4 people who all need new iPhones every few years, that massive, consistent device subsidy across all lines could make the total package cost competitive, even if the monthly service part is higher than an MVNO.
Got it. So it's about bundling hardware needs for a whole family.
That seems to be their strongest angle against the MVNO value proposition right now.
Okay. So let's wrap this all up. What's the big picture takeaway?
Well, I think the clearest finding across all our sources is this. The big 3. They definitely offer the potential for the absolute fastest speeds, and they have that really deep infrastructure, especially for niche corporate or venue needs.
But
The MVNOs, particularly U.S. Mobile, Visible, Consumer Cellular, are absolutely winning when it comes to value and customer satisfaction. They're using the same cell towers, the same core networks, often, but delivering it with better support and much lower prices.
And the key for you, the listener, to unlock those savings.
Know your data usage. That Ericsson report showing 35 GB is way more than average. That's crucial. Realizing you only use, say, 10 GB a month is the single most powerful piece of information you can have to stop overpaying hundreds of dollars a year for an unlimited plan you don't need.
Knowledge really is power here. Check your usage in your phone settings or carrier app.
Absolutely. And that leads to maybe a final provocative thought for you to chew on. We talked about carriers using deals to lock you in.
Right, the phone subsidies.
Consider that Boost Mobile Infinite Access plan. Getting a free flagship phone every single year sounds incredible, right? The ultimate hardware perk.
Yeah, very tempting.
But it forces you into that 65-month plan for 30 GB. So you have to ask yourself, is that guaranteed yearly phone upgrade truly worth potentially overpaying for the service plan month after month, year after year? Or is having the flexibility to switch to the best value plan whenever you want, like that $25 U.S. mobile plan, ultimately, if the smarter financials moves, even if you have to buy your phone separately? What's the true cost of being locked in by hardware?
That's a great point. Is the perceived value of the free phone masking a higher overall cost long-term? Something definitely worth thinking about.
It's that classic battle. Guaranteed perks versus maximum flexibility and lowest cost.
Excellent. So evaluate your usage, figure out your priorities, value, raw speed, customer support, or maybe those device deals, and you'll be well equipped to make the best switch for your needs in 2025.